Okay, they go for Windrunner. Which okay, so this is where five men really value Ace in the team and go 9 times out of 10, if they're being honest, they've won a game because of Ace. And when they lose a game, probably because Ace didn't show up. So they are probably one of the
10
most
seconds
four
to pick.
protect one esque teams I can see out there in terms of the aggression and the player style and how they
5
really put
seconds.
Ace on this
Hurry,
platform
hurry.
to show up. And it's why when you see them play, if Ace makes one mistake, it's like times 100 because it's like, oh, Ace
Yeah.
made a mistake, guys. What's happening? And you see that in this pick where they're like, okay, we could pick a Spectre here. We could pick our carry, but realistically, we have last pick. Why bother? Let's just put Chessie on his mid tiny. Let's have our strong offlane duo, and we'll pick the best carry in the game to give Ace a game. NiP's response though, where are they putting this Fury in? Is it carry? Is it or like it can be in all 3 lanes right now? So
Dire
they need to decide what they're doing, and they go for the Spectre
There you go for
instead.
the Spectre, yeah. So
Yep.
might be that 5 men are just kind of baiting NiP into these picks, and they have something really scary up their sleeve. But
Or they just have nothing.
or they just have nothing. That is also very possible. Like
Yep.
that Kunkka pick would kind of look actually pretty good for 5 men if they were able to get it, but it's banned away already by NiP. So you know, like you picking a hero that fits into 90% of the drafts, whatever your enemy is, even if they have counters. Yeah, we'll just pick this hero. We're fine with it. They're gonna ban the Alk, and then we have the Visage,
The
as
Visage.
well.
Oh,
Yeah.
5 men have nightmares after this hero. Yesterday, the first 2 games of that series in the OGA qualifiers, the
Oh
first
yeah,
game was
that.
like the Visage show. The second game was like, oh, we can actually just kill the Visage with Cataclysm. But
Only
yeah,
10
I
seconds.
love the respect they're showing this hero and that they've
5
clearly learnt
seconds. Hurry,
not to get
hurry.
swarmed because when you see Ench Furion, it's very much they can move to objectives early and pressure.
Yeah.
The the saving grace for 5 men is they do have this
Radiant's
Bloodseeker, even
banned.
Coconut to some degree. They have ways to like soft push away this early aggression and even the creeps running behind the tower. So and even Power Shot, but it's what carry can make enough space. Like Sven naturally fares really well against Furion in lane. You have the cleave,
Hmm.
but what are they gonna go for?
10 seconds to
I
pick.
asked this question because we shouldn't even be asking it. We should be looking at NiP because they still have to pick
5
a hero
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
before we get to five
they
men.
have to pick first, and 5 men can just
Yep.
reactively pick to it. They've got a
Yep.
lot of reserve time as well, so either they take a lot of time with this or just ban something and force NiP to make a quick decision with what they want to end this draft with, like they do.
they're
They
not-
just get rid of the Zeus. Now
They're gonna go like
NiP,
Leshrac again or something,
I don't know if they do. Do they want to go Lesh here?
or like I think Leshrac or Void Spirit, basically any hero that can play out a solid lane against Tiny. Actually, no, Leshrac's terrible against Tiny, right? Yeah, no, don't do that.
I
Only
kind of
10
like the Void
seconds.
Spirit idea though, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of
but
stuff
like
that you can dodge.
yeah, you want a go-getter, you know,
5
someone who
seconds. Hurry,
hits level
hurry.
6 or level 7 and goes, "Follow me, boys, we're going in," and then suddenly you got
What about
the
what about
boys
Ember?
behind.
Wait, what?
Okay, so it's offlane Phoenix with a mid Furion.
Midfield? Yeah. All right.
Okay, that's fine. That's pretty.
Unless Red
Go
Spirit
on.
mid.
Sure,
Do you think Supreme wants to play Red Spirit mid?
dude. Elsewhere admit it's pretty nutty.
Only 10
But
seconds.
let's cover that in a second.
We'll
Let's look
have to
more
wait that.
towards the.
5
No,
seconds
dude, I've seen it
remaining.
before. Trust me. Don't worry.
I've
I'll break
as
that
well.
down.
We'll
It's
come back
very
to
good.
that. We'll come
Okay,
back to that.
but like for NiP, my concern is simply they don't have egg protectors, and they don't really have a natural frontliner in terms of they literally have Spectre when he has items, or Earth Spirit if he's able to take fights. If they can't take fights because their laning phase isn't too hot, then my fear is they really do lack like wave clear and overall big presence in these early engagements. So
Yeah.
it's scary, especially when you put Ace on last pick. Like what carries are left realistically? Let's have a look. Could you go for like a greedy like a PL? No, you don't really go PL here.
What about Juggernaut? He just ignores Phoenix.
Can do, yeah. It fares well in the let's go and end the game, lads. But yeah, actually that fares pretty well.
The Arc Warden seems a bit squishy here, but yeah,
Juggernaut, nice call,
Juggernaut.
my dude. Nice cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
so
we
the
have
issue
our
with Arc
drafts.
Warden is you have Spectre, right? Like it's just not gonna work out. But so it is the mid Furion and the offlane Phoenix. Cool.
Yeah.
I actually want to call out the NiP manager actually right now because
Mhm.
he tweeted earlier a picture of techies and said
Mm.
we're gonna have some fun. I think he just lied, like outright lied.
Evaded.
He was chasing the Twitter clout that is, oh my god, a team's gonna pick techies, and they just didn't. So unless it's in game 2, but we'll see.
We'll have to see about that. I do kind of like the idea here with the entire draft coming in from 5-men, for example. Like, if they can pull off their laning stage, I feel like they can do a lot of damage here as an NiP.
Yeah.
This is once again just that same Spectre game we've seen a few times today already. There's been a lot of Spectre picks today, and it feels like almost all of them have actually won. I feel like we had a single Spectre loss today, actually.
But that's I think that the good thing about 5-men's draft is they can at least itemize to deal with the need for like objective taking, for example. So like you could go for a solar crest at some point on the Bloodseeker, which now allows you to go Roshan, or you can always look for fights with an early Blink Dagger on Tiny and the Bloodseeker, right? So there are ways in which 5-men can punish this slow paced and kind of they're like a tier 1 driven team where if they're not bashing down your early towers and forcing the early movements, they could get completely picked apart. And Trunch is also disconnected from the game, and they're yet to pause. Oh no, he's back. This is how much they value Misha. They didn't even pause for him. They're like,
yeah.
you're still a stand-in.
And I actually looked up the Spectre statistics. So Spectre has won in every single game except for 2. So Bait lost once and Hellraisers lost once.
Ah, okay.
Otherwise, Spectre has won all the games so far today.
So it's really only lost 1 game then because of Hellraisers.
Yeah.
That's just a bait joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see if that techie shows up next game. But I mean, there's stakes up on this game. Do they feel like even picking techies into like important games like this?
Nah, probably not.
Yeah, I would also think like...
It's just a bait. He just wanted us to talk about techies for like 10 minutes so that we don't talk about NiP and their recent woes. No, actually looked pretty hot actually. That OGA qualifier, they were like, but then unfortunately they fell flat.
Well, I mean, this is a good question to ask. Like, even though, do you want to pick a hero into like important games? Twitch chat. If techies is a hero, type 1. If not, type 2. Simple as that. Let them decide. Is it a hero for important games or not?
We'll wait to see that.
We'll have to wait a few minutes, and when we catch up with the delay.
What is the delay, by the way? Is it like 2, 5?
I think we got a 5-minute delay or so.
5. Okay, that sounds about right. So 3 runes going the way of 5-men. Insane net worth advantage right now.
Pretty good. Yeah. 120 gold per player. It's not bad.
Ooh. Look at the Tiny. He started with the Ring of Protection because he knew that the Fury naturally goes for Blightstone, therefore offsetting the Blightstone because Ring gives 2, Blight takes 2.
So smart.
So smart. Yep. Casual Ring.
Which lane are we really going to have the biggest action going on? I think bottom lane is just going to be a bit of a harasser here. If they can bait out like Juggernaut spin, I guess then Saberlight and Era can make some plays happen, try and punish the Jug a little bit. And they're going to use the spin because they see that he's got Fire Spirits and Ace. He's going to get him low, but it's not going to be enough for a kill. And nice dodge there. A little bit of a sidestep to dodge the rolling boulder.
Interesting from Pi. He already starts with the Voodoo Restoration.
I was looking at that too. I was like, wait, is that Healing Ward? And I was like, well, wait, that's actually Witch Doctor's Healing Ward.
I think Mish just clocked that. He also leveled the hit the Voodoo, and they're having a little bit of laugh on comms. But no, yeah, it's an interesting one to start with because I think... Sure, it offsets the early damage from spirits, but realistically, you want to go for the kill. Like, you hold your point, you see he has spirits, you spin kill, and he's out of the lane. But okay, moving on. I guess that's a bit of a weird one from Pi.
Charlie's looking like he's all right for now. Should hit that level 2 pretty soon too. This time we don't have the Tiny and the Bloodseeker combo coming out. We didn't see it too often with the Avalanche Blood, right? Which was something that I expected to see in the last game, in the last series. So, I mean, now you've got the Tiny in mid. It's going to do alright, but it's actually going to be...
Level 2.
5 men picking up the first kill here, so that's without a coconut. Just
yeah, well, I said level 2 because I expected the coconut, but guess what? It wasn't even the coconut. It's just a spin on down.
Yeah, it hasn't even leveled anything. Now we go. There's the coconut. So now it's leveled up.
The important thing here is Era actually body blocked the hard camp multiple times in his bot lane. So now, even though Saberlight died, it's not as if like the lane's in a bad spot for him.
Don't be
Yep.
mad.
So this is still like a net gain for an offlane Phoenix. And
Yeah, not looking too bad. Eric coming in from the side, looking for a courier. One hit. Really good coconut there from Pile Die.
to save his own
like-
career.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I couldn't.
Sacrifices have to be made. While they're driving Misha out, he's gone for a pull. Giba will be here to grab the creeps. Yep, 18 CS so far, looking good.
Yeah, you don't pressure the Bloodseeker, especially like the position that Misery played.
Well,
He's
they're
getting
they're
tickled.
trying.
He's not
There's a lot of
dying.
slows when they add like that frost creep, and then you have the dagger. Like Bloodseeker wasn't really moving anywhere, so good harass. And now they're even forcing on the Wind Ranger, but the wave. Well, it's a fresh wave actually, so he does have time to get back for CS.
Poor old Misery there. He was trying to body block the camp so the engine didn't get another creep, but he knew that if he ran to the camp, he would have got his Windrun purge. Sorry, so he was like toying. Do I die for this? I guess not.
Is it worth it? Ah.
Yeah, this is. The start is pretty much what you would expect, especially with an offlane Phoenix going into the Juggernaut. You don't really pressure him at any point. I think we saw this in a Viking series the other day as well, where the Jug just free farmed the entire time. And sure, you might get the early levels, but just the exit of laning phase that you get from the Jug, you buy phase or casual Wraith Band, and suddenly you're just all around the map doing whatever you want. Or you can just free farm. It's pretty chill. The question, I guess, is really, does Ace go for the Battle Fury? Because again, he's a very much greedy carry, and he likes to always like maximize his farm. Will he go for a Battle Fury to offset the Furion potential in the late game with a Sprout, or will he go for the we can just win the game in the next like 20-25 minutes?
Yeah, it's like, do you want to go for a fighter build or farm yourself up a late game? Because that's what I also look at like a lot of times.
Oh,
I love
Misha,
to
though,
see.
hold up.
I love
Top,
to see.
look at-
Yeah. Oh, wait, top.
Look, down,
Up.
down, look down a bit, left. In the top side of the jungle, buddy. There we go.
Right. I was watching my camera there. It's like, all right, where am I going? I was like looking at the bottom lane. I was like, all right, well, Misha's down. I was looking at Ace fighting at the same time. He's going for the TP out. The right clicks won't be enough to kill off Ace. Spins back onto the tower. Era. Thank you for correcting me there. Thank you.
No,
thank you so
I
much.
really should have just had a better call out there. I literally just said top,
Look
no,
down, look down, bottom lane.
I'm very literal. I would be a terrible.
My camera
rally
movement
car.
is, I'm using actually the same camera movement as Matumba Man, so I've had my arrow keys as my camera since forever. I really don't care about the WASD, and when I'm spectating, I have 1 to 0 right on top of all my hotkeys for like last hits and stuff. That's why I sometimes show what was it called, fantasy points, because I'm trying to press 0 and I
No, you
press an
really
O
care about that
accidentally.
fantasy league.
Oh yeah, you're really like,
really
if,
trying to
if we look
push
at
that
fantasy points, it's
DPC
Witch Doctor with 9.8 right now.
Let's go! Woo!
So, some very
Witch
interesting
Doctor boys,
stats
where
there.
you at?
Even though he's dead, he's still in need of the
Ace.
fantasy points, and Ace is being chased up. Sprout almost catching him, and Era. He's got abilities ready, throws in the kick, and Ace is down 3-man. He will get the kill.
Yeah, this is the value of the Fury. In these early TPs, you can really punish positioning of certain heroes, and because the Witch Doctor wasn't there, wasn't able to protect the Juggernaut under tower, he was just punished with a catapult wave as well. This is most likely, at best, half the tower gone. I expect Jug probably to TP back in to defend it, but we'll see.
I have to say,
now.
I mean, did we actually get an answer on the techies question? Because it looked like I saw a lot of 2s.
Honestly, it was like a 50-50.
It's
I
a
honestly think there
50-50, yeah,
was
yeah.
a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. Some people put 3s and 4s because they're edgy, and yeah.
Yeah.
You either love them or hate them. That's what techies is.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a love-hate relationship.
To be very clear though, techies is a hero that you actually need to be like so damn smart on how to play it and like the macro gameplay. Therefore, in a team environment, it's actually like broken. But in a pub environment, it's dumb as hell. It's like pointless. Yeah, he just died bottom. Towers lost
Yeah,
because of the catapult.
yep, he's still in lead of fantasy points, 10.1, even though he's died twice. I don't know how this calculation system even works. But, oh, Gucci there.
Okay, the question now is, does the Furion actually have a way to play out the early kind of movements? Because it's not like we've seen an explosive game from Era or Misha, and he took like the free easy tower on that 5-minute catapult wave. So we're now going to see Ace just free farming the bot lane, and 5 men counter play this by taking the mid tower. And in terms of net value on towers, this mid tower is a lot more critical in opening up the map to make quick plays than this bottom safe lane.
Oh, let's see.
Tonight.
They get the tower kill, and the roll comes in as well. Jesse, there's a shackle shot as well on Era with the Maledict coming out. That's a gone Earth Spirit. Saberlight still doesn't have level 6. Very close to it though, but if there was a chance to pop an egg, might have actually used it because there was so many targets to focus on. So I don't know. I don't know if it would have been the best use of the egg, but if they had like a core actually TP in there at the same time, then maybe yeah, but
yeah, unfortunately this offlane Phoenix is very starved. He's pretty much playing like a support role right now. Just 20 CS roaming the map, 170 gold to his name, hoping to get a media hammer at some point. Like it's difficult.
D-rune for Jesse. Pretty swell. For the Orchid coming up from the Nature's Prophet, so we are going to see the fighter Nature's Prophet build instead of like the tanky bulky frontliner. He's got some great stat gain per level, and Saberlight's going to get caught by a shackle shot and dive into the rupture. It's going to pop the egg. Can they get it down? They should be able to. Dodges the roll. 2 more hits.
Oh, the kick.
Come on. Oh, so close. They actually get it. It was really scary that they might not actually get it blown up. And here comes Furion for the rescue. So Supreme picks up a double kill. They keep their tower alive. It does come at the cost of the egg, but that's still a pretty good egg to use in the early game.
Yeah, overall that's a 500 gold swing for NiP. That's a win, more XP. Like, yeah, they're happy with that. You killed 2. Sure, your offlaner dies, but the real question is, will 5 men like? It feels like the same as that Khan game where like this blink on Chessie. It's just such a good timing, but the counter argument is with the Fury and with his Orchid, can they find an equally good timing?
Has Misery taken too much of a bite? Or the shackle shut out, able to walk out. There's still 3 heroes and a big stack of creeps here. Shiba, he wants to take the majority of it with the blood right. He will, so that's a lot of dosh. We'll get webbed up though. And another shackle shot. Here comes Jesse with the DD rune slap. Nope. No slap.
There we go.
Just a power shot.
That is, yeah, this Saberlight's having a truly rough one. He is buying time for Charlie.
Yep, and classic Midas.
Okay, so Juggernaut is going for the Manta first, which is very much an indicator of they feel like their early timing will be so much better than NiP's in terms of they're gonna like they're just gonna be able to
roll in. They catch themselves tiny. Jesse dropping low on HP. It's not very far in a bottle charge, but it's not going to be able to use it. Okay,
really chased up.
Charlie coming into that. Can they catch the Seeker? Nice roll from Era. Perfect on the spot. But they can't get to him. Earth Spirit would have actually died with that Blood Right power shot.
I think this is one of 5 men's biggest shortcomings as a team, is they try and make these plays, but without the numbers, because they're pushing top. Py's just like chilling in the mid lane, always showing. They like dive underneath the tower. They didn't respect like the best play NiP can make right now.
Bottom,
is, like,
he's trying to TP out right under the egg.
Yeah, he's fine. He's all good. He's good. There's not really any stuns. But like, yeah, it's the Earth Spirit roll into Horn is very disruptive in the early portion of the game. So I think
look at Jesse's blink timer. I'm sorry I'm interrupting. Look at that blink timer.
No, it's fine. I'm just kind of mumbling at this point. I'm just kind of confused.
No, I'm just looking at like Jesse's really gonna get that fast blink dagger here.
Yeah, it's what happens. You take this mid tower, like Tiny doesn't really care what happens. Oh, Py, the coconut, the RNG.
They know that there's no egg.
Beautiful.
Cast the coconut, whatever you want to call it, will catch him.
All of the above.
All of the above.
So basically, Saberlight even pinged the high ground. He's like, there has to be a ward. No. Py is just that man.
Era rolling in, controlling 2 heroes, trying to hold his tower up, and here comes the shackle shot. NP ulti does a lot of damage. Ace is also around, gets silenced up. The fresh Orchid, Impetus Spears coming in from Misha. He gets the Omni Slash off, but can they spread it? The Treants are tanking it, trying to spin away. Not going to work out. No spin to win today, but a kill for Misery. Nevertheless, another dive coming in. Saberlight just gets pinned to the tree. Those bolas connect.
This early Orchid from the Furion really demonstrating how you can punish the Juggernaut in these early engagements. So, yeah, good from Supreme showing up there, but realistically, the fact he died as well, it does hinder your game, because I feel like Furion, when you buy Orchid, you basically want to go like, what's happening.
Or hello, Charlie,
Where am I
even. Looking at bottom. And the tree.
It's like the same as the last game. There's so many fights.
It is. I mean...
Wait, not even fights. Let's not even give it the honor of fight.
Okay. If you look at here, so we saw two guys here on the high ground. Spectre just sitting here, chilling, you know, trying to pick some berries and, you know, whatever he's doing, looking at the concrete or something. And then they just blow him up. While there's an egg used in top, they even used a death ward for it. The silence coming in from the Nature's Prophet, but Supreme is not close to it. But Jesse's going to get stunned up, and he's going to get fired up as well with that fiery spirits coming in from the Saberlight, and Supreme will just right-click him away. And meanwhile, Pyjamas being chased up, there's an Invis error.
Every single lane is just getting worked right now.
And you're fighting, I love it. 17 kills, 20 minutes, 12 minutes even. And a mango tree has been demolished. That didn't last for long.
It was very unfortunate to see. Misery? Everyone's taking their turn of dying.
What? Okay. What the heck was that?
That was... They literally just pressured the tier 1, and Misery decided to plow his face into the dire side to just check, just to check if they were still there. He found them.
Yeah, he found them. All right. I mean, I just reacted because I was just, you know, like, okay, that just happened.
But there is a smoke coming out from 5 men again. They just want to kill this Fury because he is being a pesky little so and so. Running past the creep wave.
I know.
Get him! Oh, Jesse!
Whoa. Oh. Close one, gets out.
That was... I really wish we could see the perspective there, because maybe he was just behind the tree, actually, but... Well, that was bloody
maybe
close.
He was. That was very close. They didn't have direct control over it. Misery! Brown boots into MKB. Alright, so... I might have heard somebody tell about people doing this in their pub games will really get a lot of hate for doing that, and they don't understand why they do this build, and Misery is like... So what?
Oh, Saberlight.
Alright, getting tossed backwards. 4 seconds for egg. Stick charges. Can he live 2 seconds? 1 second? No. Half a second away from actually getting it off cooldown. Now there's TP's coming in. Ace wants to go for more. Supreme tossed into the air. There's the spin. Gonna do it majority of the damage. Pyjamas throws the coconut, and there we go. They got the Nature's Prophet. There's also a rupture on Era. Gonna bleed to death, and Sibe will walk in. And there's the Omni Slash with a DD rune on the Bloodseeker. And they are just wiping NiP's heroes out of the way. So very good usage of their ultimates, making good damage happen here.
They kind of get into that timing where they just don't really care, because they realize that without the horn, without this ability to just get insane vision in a fight, they can just run at them non-stop. And I think you pick off the Furion, sorry, no, the Phoenix, and the Furion comes in to try and save. Whenever you're making a save play, there's no intent to kill, and naturally in that kind of setup, you're putting yourself in a bad position and you can get picked off. And the value of this tiny, etc., it really pays off. So yeah, just playing in the aggressive part of the map in the dire jungle, trying to really make Charlie feel like he has to farm a lot and just play away from his team.
Like the idea of, I mean, the Bloodseeker build basically, which is turned into like going Veils, building mechanism, like just full-on utility. Utility and a couple auras.
Yeah, it's just what you want to see, mate.
He's actually going for pipe as well. Like I'm still having conflicted feelings about if a pipe game, if this is really a pipe game, then obviously you build it. But many people just ignore building pipe completely because of the cost is ridiculous and the stats aren't too great.
I think the main way of looking at it is you have to look at if you're itemizing for a key fight. So right now, I'm saying like, hold up, looking at Misery though.
Looking at Misery. Oop.
He's a dead man. No, the
mechanism
heal and the Orchid. There you go.
Dies
Dies to the soul burn. So if they're itemizing for like a 22 minute fight, it's about what is the maximum value you can bring in. And a pipe in this game is insane value. Just like picking off Saberlight, insane value. But going back to that pipe, think about the big team fight. You have Egg, Furion, Spectre might do a couple right clicks, but it's all about Earth Spirit, Furion, and Egg. So
yeah, the Earth Spirit ulti definitely as well, because people are like always underestimating the amount of damage that it can actually do.
Gnarly. Yeah,
it's gnarly is a good way to put it. Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know why I said that. I've never said that in my life, but it worked. Just like Era's going to get worked in the mid lane.
He's going to get whacked. And there's the cask right on top of the head. Tries to roll out, ruptured up, and the Bloodright will finish off the job. 3, 1, and 5 now for the Bloodseeker. Doing pretty good. Nature's Prophet still in a very clear lead, and we haven't actually looked at Spectre, so how's Charlie doing? Midas into
He's
Manta.
actually doing pretty well. Like, he's got Midas well on the way to his Yasha component, but it's all about Yasha +1. And I think my biggest fear is...
I love how Supreme steals like half the CS.
Yeah, I know. He come, you're not really doing anything, Charlie, so it's kind of mine, you know?
It's like, I need this more than you do.
My concern is still... This Fury with BKB has to make the most pop-off play ever, where he kills, like, the Tiny, for example, because the Bloodseeker, he's going to have Mech Hood. He's not dying to anyone. The Juggernaut already has Manta, and now going for Battle Fury, because he's like, I can now join the early fights, and I need to scale against the Spectre. Like, there's really no hero that the Fury can cleanly kill, other than, like, Witch Doctor and arguably Windrunner if you have the Purge from the Enchantress. So, it's a very difficult game for NiP. They really need to play off of punishing 5-men's positioning, which they do so many times, to be very clear. 5-men play the map so greedily. As you look right now, look at this split. They are literally playing the entire middle section of the map, where against a Furion...
That is the potato formation, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The potato formation for the potato men, like, you've really got to try and find some type of punishment on the side of NiP. Otherwise, this game will get out of hand because of how they will swarm the map with this Blink Dagger, with this Bloodseeker, always looking from pick-off to pick-off, like we've seen in the last 7 minutes, mate.
Ooh. 26 kills in 17 minutes. Can we still keep up the pace? Because it feels like it's slightly slowing down, like 5-men with that constant, how do you call it, presence. Like, they're really showing NiP that we're here. Come at us or we come at you.
Yep. That is a shock. That's like a really good thing to have in a team, but also a really bad thing. Because if you always want to have that presence, you eventually overstep your mark, like we saw at that top tier 1 fight, where suddenly that roll into Haunt turned it around. So if 5-men want to have this playstyle, they need to back it up with having the right heroes there. And it's why we're seeing these defensive items come first, so they can actually follow through with their playstyle, you know? We're seeing the mech, we're seeing the pipe, we're seeing the Manta, we get to play a game. Meanwhile, Misery's in his own little fairyland buying his MKB with nothing, but he does what he wants, mate. He's a greedy ass support.
Yeah, I was also looking at, like, Juggernaut actually finishing off Manta first, now building into a Battle Fury. He's just still opting to go for the farm. I guess you want the Manta to be able to fight early, like they did kind of feel like you can do like a mixture of farming and fighting. And Saberlight, well, he finds one camp's been farmed, so somebody's probably around the area. While Pylight die and Sibe coming through the river. I actually have to commend, and I absolutely love it, that Witch Doctor has picked up a Holy Locket.
He's all about the hill, I guess. That is...
Such an
he's
underrated
all about, like,
item.
Yeah, so basically I feel like he's going to get haunted on, and he's just going to press hill and just stand there and go...
He's listed up another Holy Locket.
Does that work? Does it stack?
Does it stack?
I don't know.
Doesn't it actually fill up only for the first wand, and then it might start filling on the second once the first is filled?
That's how it works. But yeah, that works like that. But I meant, like, does the hill stack? That would be hype if it did. I have honestly no idea. Never checked it.
I guess there's a cooldown.
So Holy Locket aside, look at the way that 5-men are playing the map right now. They've put their Jug in the really dangerous area of the map because the stuns on NiP, they don't really have any, right? They have just
They don't, but they're fighting in mid right now. And they're going to find the jump on top of Sibe, and he's going to get hit by the Meteor Hammer. Charlie throwing in a couple of hits as well, and will find the kill in the end. Supreme with the BKB ace is trying to hit, just continuing to right click, but there's 2 tanky guys to fight against, and that Sunray is burning the whole time.
Era coming in!
Rolling in for a very deep roll in as well, and Era blocks that one. Actually, sorry, not Era. Ace blocks Era's roll out, and Era will go down. Chesty also finds Saberlight, and that means Phoenix never got to use his egg.
Yeah, so like what I was trying to quickly touch on was the fact that they are playing as a core 3 with their Windrunner being greedy elsewhere, and their Juggernaut is playing in the dangerous part of the map. If you gank the Jug, he will always get out. He is not dying with Manta spin TP. And then the Juggernaut, the Bloodseeker, sorry, he is so tanky that it allows for the time for that double TP onto that mid tower. So sure, your Bloodseeker dies, but just the net gain of the time it took for NiP to find a kill and the amount of resources they needed to use, it's still very much a 5-man favored fight, and it's scary for NiP. Their weaknesses in their draft are now showing. How do they ever make plays with this lineup? Their off-lane Phoenix and their mid Furion are already countered by literally 1 item.
Yeah. I love how Misha just shows up at mid all alone, and there's like driving Ace and Pylai die away. Like this, we've seen this before.
Look at his quick buy.
Oh my, that is dedication. That is literal dedication. But the Omni Slash will take down Era, and Ace will find a kill trying to spin away Supreme. Can he sprout him on the spot? Nope, a bit too far away. Meanwhile, Jesse hitting the back line, and he finds Bambi. Misha is out for the count. 3 heroes still up for NiP, but all 5 are still up for 5 men. Charlie's going straight towards the bottom lane to push out the wave, but 5 men could just take a tower here.
Yeah, they can literally do whatever they want right now. They are okay. Luckily, Pi didn't go for the second Holy Locket. He is just tapping it in for, you know, the caster means, and he is going for a gun kill.
Ooh, Misery walking into the Roche pit. Gives Roche a little kiss. Aw, that's cute.
Yeah. Misery, he might look like a brute, but he's actually he's soft inside.
Misery a brute? That's the first time.
Wait, what? Misery is a rough and a stern captain in which he. Alright, this is a literally free Roshan. If you had to Google what free Roshan was, this is what comes up as the first search. Actually, technically, it would be the
honestly, I would say the freest Roshan, the freest Roshan I saw was Khan in that one game where they went to Roche pit undetected.
Oh damn! That's true. That
one was a literal given.
Yeah, you know, that was like, yeah. Right,
you're being dominated. Your opponent's showing in bottom tier 2, taking your Radiant bottom tier 2 tower, and you're like, guys, let's go Roche, and then they just snuck in the pit, no vision, no nothing, and just take it.
Respect to Khan actually.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much respect because 5 men are going to win this.
We'll have to see. It's a 10k lead for them, but this is again a Spectre game. So until they're forced into the high ground on their turtle, then we can start assessing the situation maybe a little bit differently. But
yeah, I'm very much in the position that I think the saving grace for NiP is if you ignore the construct of taking team fights, defending Roshan and defending towers, they actually have pretty good ways to prolong the game in the form of like Fury and skipping waves. Enchanters can send creeps to grab waves. Like there's ways in which they can be very annoying. The question is it annoying enough in which 5 men can ignore it and just plow through?
They're rolling in, TPs are coming in, they got the Haunt coming out as well, and almost taking down the Wind Ranger, but the heals are coming in, and they need to get this Wind Ranger out of the way because that MKB focus fire is going to be nasty.
Where's
and
Ace?
they get Sib out of the way as well. Era will go down to Chessie. Chessie's still walking back and trying to reposition again for the Echo Saber. Supreme, BKB TP out, and just like that, 2 for 1, but they might continue towards the tower. It looks like they will. They still know the Aegis is there.
This is what I mean about 5 men and their shortcomings. Their Aegis Juggernaut is literally jungling / running to the tier 1. Meanwhile, the entirety of 5 men are trying to take a tier 1 alone, and then they get just initiated on. Like, if they waited for the Jug to come there, that fight's completely different. Because suddenly Earthspirits rolling on an Aegis Juggernaut. Oh wait, he's dead. Okay, we have numbers advantage, fight, you know?
Yeah.
But instead, they're trying to bait out these cute fights, trying to, you know, 4v5 without their Jug, and they're just...
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter in the end of it because they just take 2 towers, but it's like the principle of why are you being sloppy when you are 8k ahead? It's only 8k. You're against a Spectre. You need to respect it.
Exactly. I was looking at Pylai. He actually got rid of the second Holy Locket, and he's now building a Solar Crest. So
he realized
I would have loved to see the double Holy Locket, but I'm also happy he's seeing him build a Solar Crest. However, Era, he still needs a bit more to get that Yules ready, which is really handy for this Earth Spirit. And Bambi will be found, and Blop gone.
Bye-bye, Bambi.
Dandy Bambi out of the way. And a Yule's almost ready for Phoenix. So we've got a Yule's for Phoenix. We've got a Yule's for the Earth Spirit. Is that an AC Ice spot for Nature's Prophet?
Yeah. He 100% needs to buy actual items now to find kills, because Orchid is about the early pickoffs, which he found 2. But then you fall flat because you buy BKB. And because he wasn't able to continue fights, he has to try and do something for his team. And this is my concern. How do they stop 5 men just chunking away at towers?
Pretty difficult right here. Charlie trying to look for any kind of opening he can, but he's also very low on mana. He spent everything on just throwing daggers. Still got 21 charges.
He's just a budget version of Windrunner. They're both throwing out their damagey spells, and that's it.
Well, they get the tier 3. They don't get more NiP. Still get to hold their base.
So in theory right now, what 5 men do, they force all their opponent back to their base, right? Because they hit the tier 3. They'll then hold the high ground and try and take the counter fight.
Jesse won't go for Era. Era's out, and there's also the egg being popped up. Misery really wants to blow it up, but they're forced to retreat. Xiba getting caught by the stun. Supreme just right-clicking away, but there's a lot of armor on this Bloodseeker. Can they take him down? They're trying to take Xiba out, but he can't. And now there's Ace coming in between with the spins, and Xiba finally taken out of the way. Era coming in with a buyback. Ace dropping a healing ward, putting it into the trees, healing himself up. He might even try and go for Omni-slash play here with Jesse coming back into the fight. Ace, he's finally got himself free. He's silenced up again. He's going to lose his ages, so that's one life gone. And NiP, they realize we've already done too much damage. We've also taken a lot of damage on ourselves, and we have to get out. Supreme sort of TP home, not going to be able to. Chessie will toss him in the air, and that's another kill there. But they blow up the Aegis, they get the Bloodseeker, but 60 seconds without your mid.
Like, the funny thing is, it literally means nothing for 5 men, right? Like, your Bloodseeker dies, etc. Like, there's no horn, there's no egg, they don't care, they just go again. But, like, it's just a setup that 5 men have in these early fights that I feel like they should be able to crush the fight rather than look like it's close.
Trying to spread it onto Saberlight. Misha survives, and can he get away from the spin? Nope, Jesse shows up and just punishes. Bumby gone for the 7th time.
Alas. Yeah,
LA Rax fallen.
Push lineup or like Juggernaut versus any cooldown is you win fight, you get to just pressure. You have healing ward, you have this reset, you have this holy locket on the Witch Doctor pumping out all these hills.
Saberlight getting tossed backwards, no spin. No, I mean no dive, that is. Well, Ace will spin at least.
Is this a second Rax?
This is it, it is. They took the mid lane, they're gonna go for top now. And it's looking pretty good for them.
It's alright.
High stakes game for any team here, basically. Duos or 1-1s.
Well, maybe this was NiP's play all along. Let 5 men win game 1 and then crush their spirits by winning game 2, and then 5 men are like,
that's like you're giving that false sense of security. You're like, oh yes, guys, we're actually doing it, and then just silence.
I think that might be what they're doing. They're just like, we'll give you a freebie, and then we're gonna smack you down game 2. Maybe. Well, there's still a little bit left in this game. I think there's like 1 fight left in NiP. The issue is, if you look at Charlie right now, he's just standing on the high ground.
I'm also just thinking, like, when do they go for the smoke play where they just run out of base with the smoke up and try and do... It's like the Hail Mary. Yeah, they are chasing around. There is a Windrunner also TPing in. Misha still trying to juke around. Oh, Pyjamas, he's got his senses. He finds him. He's got that Hunter sense going on with the Witch Doctor, and here comes Misery. And with the focus fire, that should be more than enough.
I feel like that should have been just a... You know, we discussed like the idea of just a 1v1 fight. That was the moment. Bambi versus Witch Doctor. Of course, Witch Doctor wins, but principle.
Honestly, like one of the most hypest parts I've ever seen when I've been casting a game is, I think it was it 4 Zoomers versus EG when I saw Enchantress versus DK, and it was so tight. It was an insane 1v1, and you see people respawning and coming back to the fight, and they're killing each other's, and then Bambi and DK are the last ones up again, and they're still fighting. There, like, yeah, it was like a 1.5 minute. It was like a 1.5 minute fight, and it seemed like it's never gonna end.
Alright, so we're at the final set of racks for NiP.
Yep, this is pretty much do or die right now. Ultis are going to be up. They've got Haunt, they've got the Egg. NiP, can they find any opening? Because Jesse is actively looking for that blink. He's looking to find someone. He sees Arrow rolling in. He's going to get silenced up as well, but they're actually moving away from the high ground area.
To be clear, he was rolling by, not rolling in. He was just kind of like, I don't really want to go in.
the royal wave, kind of like. Just checking on things here. Does that mean Era equals Foreman?
I think you're reaching there, buddy.
Maybe he is the Foreman of action. We'll have to see. They have their eyes set on Supreme though. Here's the Rupture.
Doesn't have either TP available.
Walking.
Oh, golly gosh.
Can they sun? Oh no.
Oh no. Oh.
Quick slash in the face. That's a rough one. That's a really rough one.
That truly is. Oh,
they're gonna go more, and they find Saberlight. Not looking good for NiP. Buyback coming in from Saberlight. Arrow trying to slow down the Bloodseeker, but this guy is just... I don't even know what to call this Bloodseeker right now. He's got everything to keep him alive, and he's just walking around just looking for
The
someone.
units, mate. That's what we call it in good old England.
Yeah, you could almost say, yeah, that's an absolute unit. Era is going down as well. And they will lose Saberlight. That's a dieback on this hero. And can they get anything to happen? NiP, the last huzzah is going on. Ace is just spinning by Charlie. Still has Omni Slash. Goes for the Manta. Throws in the ultimate. Jesse's already taken down Supreme as well. And Misha will survive barely. And there's a quick slash to follow up the Omni Slash for Ace to be the real slasher. And that's GG.
GG. That is honestly, I think a splendid game from 5men. A couple positional mistakes where I feel like they were being way too aggressive, but realistically didn't really matter because I think NiP are very much in that kind of cooldown department. So even if there is a bad fight, you can just continue moving on. Jug, unkillable hero, no stuns, no BKB piercing stuns, and he went for Manta first, then Battle Fury, very good itemization. And unfortunately, I don't like saying this at the end of a game, but this is one of those very few games where the draft alone was so 5-man sided that I think they could have run this 100 times, and I think I'd have seen the same outcome, unfortunately. I'm looking forward to what they have to bounce back in game 2.
It did feel like it a little bit here. I mean, and NiP definitely. I mean, the way that they move around, the way that they communicate. Misha's been absolutely fantastic today as well, but it didn't really see any sign of dominance from NiP. So I guess if they shift a little bit here and there, maybe adjust their draft a tiny bit. I mean, 5men still got a draft for themselves that they were kind of looking and hoping for. So it felt like the draft bans weren't really affecting them that much.
No, yeah.
At least it feels. Exactly, it feels like that.
Like for this draft, this is like if you were to like look at 5-man draft, this is one of their most not comfort, but they understand this style really well, and you saw that in their pressure on mid tower. Like, sure, they lose bot tower because of a misplay, but they're instantly hitting mid. They then take away top tower, and suddenly they're sweeping through the map. And the issue for NiP, they first pick this Enchantress, they show an Earth Spirit, and then they have this Fury and like they're never picking a hero that ever goes, look at my timing, let's go fight. And when you have this Spectre hero, it pairs so well when you have cores that have these earlier timings to bridge the gap that Spectre doesn't exist. And unfortunately, an Orchid Furion, as your only core that ever had a timing in this game, doesn't really, fare to much. It doesn't really play out. So I think, yeah, again, they did really well in the early moves from the Furion. It's just they didn't chain enough good moves to really ever take a fight because, again, like their offlane Phoenix was basically a support, and their support duo doesn't really do any damage. So they were just kind of lost in this game.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see in game 2, which is going to be the last game of the entire day. Are we going to see a 2-0 or a tie possibly coming in because both results have different results? Haha. Regarding the group stage. No, I'm serious. Both results have an impact on the group stage itself. So we'll have to see and wait what happens in our next game. But after a break, we'll continue in about 7-8 minutes. So stay tuned for that last game of the European CIS group stages here at the BTS Pro Series Season 3.